Welcome to Dose of Depth podcast. I'm your host, Deborah Lukovich, and I invite you to explore what's beneath the surface of all sorts of things, including your own life. Through conversation, stories, and education, you'll see what you couldn't see before, find new meaning in old events, and even discover a new sense of purpose out there in the world. Let's get started. This episode is a guided meditation with active imagination for anger. As always, I get these ideas for new meditations through my work with clients. And something came up this week with one of my clients, and it was about anger and how anger, if not explored and processed, might result in defensiveness when you're really trying to move forward in a relationship, for example. I also have an accompanying blog post about this issue that you might want to check out as well. And before I start, I want to remind you that your emotions are one way your unconscious is speaking to you, is trying to get your attention to explore something. Your emotion wants something from you. And anger in particular is a juicy emotion. It's fiery, it's intense, and it wants to move, and it actually wants to create. So if you can hold the tension of exploring the different aspects of your anger, a new insight will definitely emerge, a new perspective about your life, maybe seeing something you couldn't see before, and there's going to be an unleashing of some kind of creative expression. So I love anger. I love exploring it with my clients. So what's going to happen in the next few minutes is we'll start with some breathing to allow you to drop down into a lower level of consciousness where you're more receptive to your unconscious and the images it will present. Then we're going to check in with the body and see where anger might be hanging out. And by the way, even if you're not feeling angry right now, for me, I hide from anger. So I've got a lot of old anger that ends up getting expressed by accident. It'll be Hermes. Hermes will put me in a situation where 3 things go wrong in the same day, and eventually I just have to surrender and yell, "Yes, I'm angry, fine. Okay, what is this about?" And then something ends up working itself out. So also, I wanted to remind you of that. And chapter 11 from my soul book talks about emotions, and you can actually listen to it for free on my podcast, Dose of Depth. It's season 1, episode 30. So are you ready to wonder and reflect about the meaning of anger in your life? So find a comfortable position. You can lay down if you want, or you could sit, or like Michael Bernard Beckwith wants, to sit with a spine erect and your feet on the floor and your palms up, facing upward, as a gesture of being receptive to what your unconscious has to say. So it doesn't matter. And then just notice what you notice when you close your eyes. I just want to take a breath right away. So you might notice that you feel comfortable or uncomfortable. You might notice the temperature around you. You might notice the stillness or maybe some sounds. Just notice. And then notice yourself noticing. You're becoming more of an observer than of your experience, than confusing your experiences, your emotions, your thoughts with who you really are. You're not that. And then as you notice your breathing, we're going to be more intentional about the inhale and the exhale. And I'm encouraging you to exhale with your mouth open, and also to maybe sigh or make a noise. It just feels so much more fulfilling. And as you deepen your inhale down to the root chakra, to your tailbone or even your toes, hold it at the top. And then each exhale, try to make it longer and expand, where eventually your exhale is twice as long as your inhale. The image of a chalice is useful here. The chalice is a symbol of receptivity. And there's lots of stories about how in order to receive something new, something old has to be dumped out. So the exhale is your cleansing. So you might breathe in for 4, hold, and try to breathe out for 8, as if you're down at the bottom of the pool and you're wondering, do I have enough inhale? Have I inhaled enough to reach the top? So it might sound like this. And if your stomach is sucking in at the end of your exhale, you're doing it right. So just take a few of those. And it is the exhale, my yoga teacher said, that is what resets your parasympathetic nervous system, which can relieve you of anxiety or lessen whatever the intense emotion is. So after you've taken a couple of those breaths, we'll quickly check in with the mind. Meditation isn't about stopping thoughts. That's silly. That's impossible. But it is about not being confused that the thoughts are who we are. So you might quickly just check in and see if your mind is active. And don't judge the thoughts. Just maybe try to attach them to a falling leaf over there in the distance from a tree or a cloud passing by. Yep, there's that thought. Yep, I have that one 25 million times a day. Okay, I'm just going to put it over there for now. Now we'll circle to your body. So as you breathe and you're present, we're going to slip into anger. It might be anger that you just experienced now, through a conflict or through Hermes the trickster making you, I don't know, lose your keys, or your technology isn't working, or it's just suddenly you had this anger because you couldn't get what you wanted in the moment, couldn't get your job done, some work done, or task, whatever it is. Or you can just be curious, or you can think about, when is the last time I felt anger and resentment that didn't really get resolved, but I just tucked it away. If you can think about a specific incident, it could be old, way back, something you're still angry about that happened a long time ago, or yesterday. Try to slip back into that and then notice, where is it hiding out in your body? I'm always looking up the psycho-spiritual meaning of certain issues with our body. And it really is turning out that even cancer, the spiritual meaning, is repressing emotions. And we're so good at that. So that's why your anger could actually be hiding from you. So we want to bring it out in a safe space. So where in your body can you sense anger? And finding it in your body is going to be really helpful when we get to the active imagination part. So as you remember that incident, re-feel the anger. And where is it in your body? It could be in your chest, your heart area. It could be at the top of your head. It could be in your belly, the sacral chakra, the place of emotions and relationship and creativity. Or the anger could be in the form of where you get migraines on one side of your head with that blood vessel too constricted to allow the flow of blood. Or it could be between your eyebrows, your third eye chakra, the place of intuition. It could be showing up on one side of your body, and that matters. Could be your shoulder, could be your knee, could be lots of aches and pains where the anger is hiding out. So focus on that area and really focus on the sensation. So if anger is in your chest, does your chest feel tight? Or does it feel stretched? Is there a flutter or a vibration? Is there a temperature? It feels hot. So wherever you're focusing in your body, wonder more about what is the sensation. And then allow an image to come up. And if it doesn't, that's okay. Just keep focusing on that area. So for example, if it's in the belly, you might feel heat. You might feel bloated. It might feel heavy or stretched. Or for me, the belly is often where difficult emotions hide out. And I start to feel like this isn't me. Like I'm carrying around this part of my body, but it's not mine. It's like I've strapped something around my belly and I'm carrying it, but it's not me. So just continue to focus and allow images. There could be a color. Is there a color? Is there a shape? Or you might be really good at this and you get a really complex image right away. It's a person. It's an object. And as you allow an image, don't try to figure out what it is. Just look at it as the observer. And now we're going to, in our imagination, move the image, ask the image if we can move it out of our body so we can take a closer look and understand what is it trying to communicate. So in your imagination, you can ask. You could go through the motion and take your hands, and maybe it's a bowling ball in your belly. That was one of my clients, and she was able to grab it and move it out of her body. For another client, it was a balloon. That was interesting. She was able to move it out and just hold it in her hand and have a conversation with it. I know that sounds silly, but our unconscious speaks to us in images so that we get around the mind's need to interpret it in a way that only affirms and confirms the assumptions we already made about our lives. And we're trying to find a new insight. So it's creative in this way on purpose. So as you move the image out of your body, just see what happens. Is it off in the distance? Are you holding it in your hands? Is it moving? And watch it shapeshift. Some of my clients, their images shapeshift very quickly. It's even hard to keep up. And then at the end, we explore sort of the meaning of all, potential meaning and symbolism of all those different images. For other clients, there's an image and it just hangs there. And it doesn't change. So there's no way to know what you're seeing right now. But the purpose of the image is to communicate something to you. So the image could be, you could get the sense that you're supposed to follow, or touch it, or walk around it. The image could be a person that you know or that you don't know, or a celebrity or someone who's died, or it can be anything. It can be a scene. The image can be another emotion. There could be sadness, disappointment, and we just keep allowing our imagination to have its way with us. Your image may actually just talk to you. You might want to ask it a question like, why are you here? Why are you bothering me? What is it you're trying to get me to see that I'm not seeing right now? It might communicate telepathically. You can feel free to ask questions. The image there is to help you, to be of your benefit. So even if you don't like the image, you are speaking to another part of you. And so no matter what, you want to be respectful of the image. Even if you can't understand, we might not be ready to hear what it has to say, or often like the image of a phone might show up, a cell phone, where you're looking at the text and you can't understand the language. So we want to be patient with our images. They are there for our benefit. So I'm just creating space for you right now to explore. Sometimes a younger version of ourselves will come up and say, hey, let's go play. And there's a reminder of something for you that when you bring back to conscious awareness, you're like, oh, that's what that is all about. So we're focusing on anger. I had a couple of clients in the same week focusing on anger, and the images that came up were like cartoon characters, like emojis, and they were fiery. One was the character from Guardians of the Galaxy, and his hair was like on fire, and he wanted to sit on a park bench with my client. So we did that. And this little fiery character that was filled with anger started kicking his legs, and then he wanted to play. It was quite amazing, actually. So if you need more time because your imagination is very active, you can stop this recording and keep having an adventure. Otherwise, when it seems like a good place to leave, we never want to leave abruptly. So just look at your image and say thank you for whatever wisdom it shared today. If you want to come back and explore more, say, hey, I'd like to come back. Is that okay? And then you can come back and open your eyes and wonder about your experience. Now notice the part of your body where anger was hiding out, and notice if it's different. 100% of the time, if there was some sort of ache or pain or anger, anxiety, whatever in the body before active imagination, helping that image move out of the body and explore it always results in that relief in that part of the body. So notice that. Now, you want to explore your adventure in the images. Chapter 16 from my book is about using the associations method to find the meaning. What is it that you're supposed to be seeing and knowing that you didn't before? You can listen to that chapter on Dose of Depth. It's season 1, episode 36, chapter 16, Finding Associations. And journal. And I hope you got relief from processing old or current anger. And I hope you do take a minute to journal, because the reason your anger comes up is, and even if it's about something old, is it has to do with moving forward today. So there's something that you're supposed to learn and figure out that is needed to move forward in life, to be pulled forward by this future version of you. So I hope you enjoyed that. It went a little longer than I thought. And I'll keep doing more of these. Like I said, I get the ideas from my work with my clients, and I'm really thankful that I learned so much from them, from working with them. So until next time. I'm your host, Deborah Lukovich, and you are listening to Dose of Depth podcast. To get updates on new episodes, my writing, and how I teach my clients to get to know that deeper part of themselves, go to deborahlukovich.com. Oh, and if you're not ready for a coach, learn what my clients know in my book, Your Soul is Talking. Are you listening? 5 Steps to Uncovering Your Hidden Purpose. You can check it out on my website or get it on Amazon.